Okay, hello everyone. I'm just trying to reconnect now again. Okay, so my apologies for this connection error. I'm not sure it's my connection error or overall from all three of us because we all three in a different area with a different service provider. Just wait for William and Joshua to join us.
Hey, hello, anyone?
Hello. Yes, sir.
So it's a Deepak there. Okay, so the first one got disconnected, so we continued talk with Joshua. That's perfect, but no one was listening.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
We had a
yeah,
we had a lovely little talk between the two of us, not knowing that no one else
yeah,
could hear us.
Okay.
perfect. Now we
So
are back. Okay.
okay, so I was asking to you like William, like how's your journey started in the beverage industry?
Oh, okay. So we start straight from the bottom. Okay, so look, I always had sort of like the hospitality feeling. I always tried to take the orders for all my families and bring the drinks and food and everything, which I don't understand where it's coming from. But the whole journey behind the bar started. I was in uni and I used to go to one bar in my hometown, and literally I just skipped the class or skip the whole day. Sometimes I skip the whole week. And I stayed most of the time whole day in that bar and cafe. And I was talking to the bartender there, watching him, and he had like a lot of attention. He was really knowledgeable. And I took it for the fun, and I started to help him, so a little bit like, clean some stuff and so on. Then some people asked me to make a drink, and that's how it
Yeah.
all started. Yeah. So it was during the uni. I took it mainly for fun. I just like the part where I can be center of attention, throw a few things to the air, catch them back, and had all the phone numbers. Yeah, that was literally the first intention why I fell in love with this job. And
Wow.
many years after, I would say I went like in and out, but I was still in the same industry, still in the beverage, still the bar, still the bartending, still the core. But I never took it that seriously until I started to work in Prague with a group who owns. It's a Golden Tree name, but they have Black Angels Bar. Yeah, and those days they were building Black Angels Bar, and that was the moment when I was like, "Damn, I really like this thing." So I want to know exactly everything about that. And then I went into geeky. So considered my age, I started really late. But there's never too late for anything. But started too late to take it seriously. But within few years, I moved to UK. I was in Wales, in Cardiff. I was Celtic Manor Resort there. Great stuff, great bars in Cardiff, great bars in London. Yeah, all there. And then suddenly I went through Singapore, and now I'm in Bangkok.
So how's your journey to Bangkok till now? Because okay, you are in the
And
Bangkok for first 1.5 year. You are just building the bar and train. You
yeah,
are
I'm
doing the
here
training
like
for a
over
team.
3 years now.
Yes.
So now I'm here over 3 years. Yeah. So I signed for the project here with Capella. It was great to be here much earlier because I could help with the design of the stations and really take it from the bartender's perspective. Yeah. For operation and everything. Where is the fridges? We don't have any cupboards. We have fridges and freezers and so on. So it's like that was a great part. So even 2 years before opening, it's a good opportunity if anyone has a chance to be on the project because you can change a lot and you can prepare for the real operation. So Bangkok is over 3 years now. And yeah, this year the bar was open 5 weeks, so I can't really tell you much.
But still, it's still like your bar, like okay, like we can say your bar and the Four Seasons bar are one of the newest bar which everybody waiting to see in the action.
Yeah,
So
like look what Philip did next door. It's amazing as well, and I would say whole Chowpraya estates, both these two houses here next to each other on the river bank. It's amazing because you can come here and you have a little bit different style here in Stella. So Stella, it's a little bit like a funky style. We have the live music, whereas the pop music done by great Thai interpreters. Yeah, our approach as a bartenders is like really lively, but we are much smaller place. Yeah, so we are really cozy. Yeah, with a lot of details, a lot of touches. And then you go next door, you can sit a little bit outside, have your cigar, have an amazing South American style of drinks. Yeah, great vermouth. Yeah, amazing cocktails as well, more into the classic side. Here I play more with a fusion of like the modern mixology, I would say, and pastry. Yeah, so we are really closely cooperate with our pastry chef.
great. Now that's like this is all for you. Like now let's go to our main topic about the rum. So Joshua and William, what do you think?
All right.
How this rum culture started?
How did rum culture start?
Yes.
Rum culture. I mean, I don't know if you want to call it culture, but I mean, rum. It's whenever I give rum talks, I always touch on this topic. It's a very dark part of history, but I always think it needs to be discussed because people deserve to need to know where this stuff come from, and obviously it came from the trade triangle started by the British with taking slaves from Africa to work on plantations in the Caribbean, and then obviously cultivating sugar, and then these age-old techniques of distillation being thrown into the mix back in like the 1600s. I'm probably way off on my dates. I'm a bit rusty on it, but yeah, I mean, that's where the birth of rum came from. Sugarcane, I think, is native to Papua New Guinea, and then made its way to the Caribbean and in Europe. But yeah, I always try to touch on the trade triangle and the slave triangle because I think it is important for people to know about this part of history. But it's certainly not something to be proud of. But it is obviously, the core roots of rum came from sugar cultivation in the Caribbean.
True word.
Great. And
Yeah.
so actually so if I correct my words, we can't say it's a rum culture. We can say it's a journey of sugarcane to the spirit, right?
Yeah. Well, obviously,
In all
sugar
this-
was a massive commodity, and the distillation part of this came about because obviously the molasses is what was considered to be a waste product. It was rubbish, and what do the Europeans do when they have leftover stuff that's full of sugar? They ferment it and they distill it. So
Wait. I think something to show you. I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, what Lusitania? I actually wrote an article on Lusitania recently. It's actually really interesting stuff. But I mean, we can talk about that another time. But yeah. Just going back to what I was saying. It's turning a waste product. It was turning a waste product of molasses into something that is cheap and easy to make and will get you drunk. And then we start talking about the Batavia Arak thing with Lusitania and how that was looked upon as being some of the finest cane spirit in the world, which is the Lusitania story. But yeah, check out our Instagram if you want to read that review to get more.
Yeah, we'll definitely do.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting stuff. I was going to bring it up anyway, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I would definitely would love to read it. I'm sorry I haven't got a chance yet, but this is, for example, Nusa Kanya. It's a little bit misunderstood. The one thing about rum is basically rum doesn't have any set specification, and that's the worst thing because you can define vodka, you can define tequila, but rum is technically okay. It's made from sugarcane, and then you can blend whatever you want, you can age however you want, you don't have to age, and so on. So there is no whole world law to define rum, like literally what you can call rum. I was happy when one of the vodkas here in Bangkok made from a sugarcane is literally called vodka and it's distilled sugarcane. So I'm happy they don't call it rum. Yeah, because it's not really rum.
I think if you distill to over 96% ABV in the EU and over 95% ABV in America, regardless of what it's being made from, if it's made from sugarcane and distilled to 97% ABV, then you can't call it a rum anymore. So there are plenty of governing guidelines. For example, in Venezuela, you can never bottle higher than 50% ABV, so you will never get a Venezuelan overproof rum. So there are plenty of guidelines into making rum. If you look at the AOC to create Martinique Agricole rum, it's pages and pages long. But the thing is, there isn't one set of rules that governs universally, globally. So I mean, we're looking at Barbados now, the GI that people like Richard Seal and Mount Gay, and there's obviously the argument with Alexandria Gabriel that's happening in a moment about the Barbados GI. And they're trying to get their own set of laws to govern Barbados rum. But yeah, exactly like you said, there isn't one set of rules that governs globally, other than the 96% ABV, the 37.5% bottling, and the fact that you can't add anything other than sugar to the rum afterwards. So you can't put vanilla in there, you can't put any flavorings in there, you can't put cinnamon syrup in there, for example. But But I think it's interesting, and I think it actually blows the category wide open, that there are so many different laws, but they're all specific to their own country or their own region. I think that there's a law in Puerto Rican, where rum producers in Puerto Rico, where it needs to be aged for X amount of months or something, or X amount of weeks, I think, in a barrel, like rested basically. Yeah, which makes it really interesting, I think.
So we can say like some countries have a specific time that you need to do the aging, and some countries don't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's what makes this category so unique and so diverse, because you can have literally different styles of rum from every country. Yeah, and it's a different taste, different technique, how it's done, what it's made from, and so on. It's all sugarcane, but then you have the molasses, you have juice, and so on. You have mix of both.
Yeah, exactly.
What both of you think that how did actually rum drinking culture started? Okay, the Europeans, they start putting the things together to make the rum, the cheaper version of the spirits and all. They using
it's more about. Look, it's more about look, wherever you go these days, we can't imagine, because we live in a world where you can sit on a plane and you within 12 hours on another side of the planet. Yeah, but. Long time ago, when especially they discovered Caribbean, New World, and so on, what do? Yeah, you have a lot of, if it's English, or French, you bring your brandy or whiskey with you in a barrel. What are you going to do if you run out of it on the new island where you are? You can order more, you can ask to deliver, but it takes ages, and so on. Then it can get spoiled. Sometimes it doesn't arrive. So what do you try to do? You try to create something what you know how to make. Yeah, so first idea for sugarcane was, to create sugar. There wasn't an idea, let's build a plantation and let's make rum. No one had this idea before. Yeah, the sugarcane beer here in Asia is, but that's not for the spirit. Yeah, so how the drinking started was basically, you have something what is sweet, it can ferment. You can use your distillation, because if you're French, after some time, if you're going to live all your life for generations in a small island in Caribbean, you bring your pot still for cognac with you. And you don't have grapes there. Yeah, so what are you going to use? Yeah, and then you realize, okay, the molasses beer, you can use it for your workers as a nutrition, but then, you can distill it. And that's how the all rum starts.
There's actually a really interesting reference that goes back to the 1400s. One of the famous explorers, I forget which one it was, referenced to a very sweet fermented sugarcane drink from Old Malaya, so obviously Malaysia, and it was named Brum, B-R-U-M. I've done a fair bit of research trying to figure out if there's any more on anything else online that references to this, but that's the only reference you can find. And I mean, in a country in a country like Malaysia, in a climate like we're in, it's perfect climate to grow sugarcane. So it would make sense. I mean, at any roadside stall now, you'll find them crushing sugarcane. I'm sure they did this, centuries and centuries ago. And if you leave that out long enough, it's going to naturally ferment. It's just a really interesting reference, I think. But when you talk about culture, I think it's more relative to different countries. So if we look at prohibition in the United States, for example, it was a lot easier to get rum from the Caribbean than it was to get, you know, cognac from France or whiskey from Scotland. And it was a lot cheaper as well with, you know, with the rum runners, you know, bringing over barrels and barrels illegally. So I think part of the rum culture in the United States probably started there. Less moonshining going on and more people rum running from the Caribbean. I know there was a big crackdown during Prohibition with smashing up little distilleries all over the southern states. So yeah, I think, you know, a big kickstart for American rum culture was probably during Prohibition.
Mm-hmm. For sure, it's like, as I said, how it all started, it's a different story than was the peak of the rum. Yeah, like, can we really pick up the timeline when the rum was the most popular drink in the world? What do you think, Joshua?
Now, I'm going to say now.
Yes. This is the time when the rum is popular.
I think it's still the fastest growing spirit. Sorry, I'm walking around to get a charger here, guys. I think it's still the fastest growing spirit category. I think with the category, again, has been made even more broad. Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate on two things at once here. Made even more broad with people like Luca Gargano, the Luca Gargano Richard Seal classification with, you know, pure single rums and single blended rums. I know the first time I tried some of these rums, they blew my mind. I mean, it was a whole different side to rum that I hadn't tried before. So it's more of a premium category now than it ever has been. So I think there's definitely a lot more interest in rum than there has been for a very long time. I know I'm more excited about it than I ever have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
like, I agree with you. Yeah, no problem. I agree with you. Yeah, the truth is that for states, I remember I would say, the beginning of tiki culture and so on, Don Beachcomber, you know, Trader Vic and all these things. I guess the restaurant side those days took over a little bit and rum was in. I still remember myself when I started to go to bars. Yeah, I was drinking rum and coke, Cuba Libre, all the time. Yeah,
it's giving me memories of India when we used to drink only Cuba Libre every night.
I must drunk gallons of Cuba Libre, yeah. Then JD and Coke. So basically everything with Coke I was mixing. But then I think it was more time of the rum and Coke, yeah. So it's Cuba Libre style. It's like it's my technically drinking childhood, I would say.
Great. Joshua, like, when you're planning for JungleBird, how it's come in your mind to move to the rum bar? Because JungleBird known as a rum bar. You mentioned that you have more than 220 labels of rum in your bar.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question.
I'm asking, like, how, like, when you're opening the JungleBird, what come in your mind that, okay, I need to open the rum bar? What's coming in your mind?
There was no rum bars in Malaysia at the time, and I was always going to do a rum bar. I've always had a mad love for rum, and there was the big gap in the market. And I think even before I moved out here, you know, as a young, ambitious bartender, the goal is always to own your own bar at some point. I mean, it was for me, and certainly for a lot of other people I know as well. And that bar, after my time at Mahiki, that bar was always going to be a rum bar. It didn't matter if I'd stayed in London or I'd moved out here or I'd gone, you know, wherever. The ambition would have always been to open. My first bar would have been a rum bar, partly because it's what I knew and what I know, but most importantly, it's because I have a genuine love and a passion for the stuff. And when I talk about it, I can get really excited talking about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can talk about gin, and I appreciate gin, and I appreciate scotch, and I appreciate tequila. But when it comes to rum, I think I just understand a little bit more about what's inside the bottle and what makes the stuff and why rum is so special. So, it was partly because a huge passion for it, partly because it's something that I really understand, and partly because there just wasn't a rum bar in Malaysia, and there was a gap in the market.
What is the rum you would like to try these days? Is there something like hey, I would like to know?
There's one from Vietnam called Sampan that I've not tried before. I don't know if you've heard of that. I think it's agricole style rum made from fresh sugarcane juice. Oh. SAMPAN. They have a distillery.
Something from here, Thailand.
I've tried all the rums from. What is it? Prior Isan and Chalong Bay. Is there another? or is it just the three?
No, we are Isan.
There isn't one more. Yeah, there is
Isan,
one more
Isan,
small
Chalong Bay, and
distillery.
Praia.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you
Okay.
have one more. It's a one more small distillery here. It's some like a suburb of Bangkok.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah. They're
Kopasang.
like pretty new. I think. Yeah, I think it's like first batch. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like the Thai rums are really interesting. Like I have to say that I'm really happy to be here and be able to try them and work with them. You know, it's a
Yeah.
great stuff.
We don't get a lot
Yeah.
here. I mean, we get Praia and we get Chalong Bay. We have Praia. We don't have Chalong Bay. I'll tell you one rum that I've always been been a massive fan of since first trying it is Samai from Cambodia. I don't know if you tried Samai.
Okay.
Samai is incredible stuff. It's a
I had
wonderful
just
story.
a sip. Yeah, I need more than just a sip.
It's a wonderful story. The guys that own it are friends from Venezuela. They have zero industry. They had zero industry in the rum, zero experience in the rum industry, and they bought some pot stills and they just got cracking and started making the stuff. And they use the same recipe they use today. Just the stills have got bigger. I think they've got a hybrid still now as well. But we met the guys. We went to the distillery in Phnom Penh, and it's just 7-day fermentation. Like reasonably long fermentation. It has a fair bit of oomph to it. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's funky. I don't know what the ester count is, but it's definitely got a whole heap of flavor. It's molasses, local Cambodian molasses, 100% pot stilled, 7-day fermentation. They age. They mess around with their woods as well. I know when we were there, they had some Sharon-Tay casks, I think, and maybe they got some sherry butts in. So. And they also do a Camp-Pot. I feel like I'm advocating, like I'm an advocate for Samai here. It's just the first time I tried this stuff, I wanted to like it, but at the same time I was hesitant because, you know, it's not a big rum producing country. I mean, Asia isn't a big, you know, it's not the Caribbean, it's not Central or South America. But when I tried it, I wasn't just pleasantly surprised. I was absolutely blown away. I gave some to Richard Seal when he was out here in JungleBird as well. I was just so proud of the stuff that I figured Richard Seal needs to try this Samai rum. So yeah, I gave him some of that.
So yeah, as we spoke about the different countries, different laws, especially for rum, here you basically officially not allowed to age. Yeah, so that's one of the things why you see even Chalong Bay and what Thibaut does in Phuket is basically it's unaged. Yeah, the Isan rum, it's really interesting part because they're using only like the thin sugarcane. Yeah, just only the young sugarcane, and they strip it off the skin, so they don't keep the skin. They strip it off, and then after they squeeze the juice. So once you put it distilled, once you put it to your nose, you have pure sugarcane. Yeah, it's honestly like drinking sugarcane juice. Yeah, so it's amazing rum to work with as well. You know, so that's. In one hand, the laws and regulations sometimes bring you really nice, beautiful products.
Yeah. It's I mean, we're not even allowed to distill here, so you guys are lucky. I mean, apparently there are some old licenses that were given or bought by families like generations ago that still exist, but generally speaking, the law says you can't distill here in Malaysia, which is a shame because I'd love to make my own rum. Just can't do it here.
I think like something similar in Thailand, but example, you can't do the big production. You can do the small production, number one. And number two, you can't
do shit here, man.
Like it is. And you can't you can make your product with the name of rum, vodka, gin. But if you can play around with the words, you can. Am I right, William?
Yeah, true.
You guys are breaking up a bit here. Can you hear me, Deepak?
Yes, I can hear you, Joshua.
I think William's breaking up a little bit there. Can you hear William?
No, I think he just lost the connection.
I'm sure he'll connect back in a second.
Yeah. So Joshua, like okay, maybe William is coming back. By the time we can talk about Jungle. So how's your experience so far in the Malaysia since 2017 till now? How's your experience running JungleBird 4 years?
2017 to 2020 was fantastic. We learned a lot as new business owners and new bar owners. We definitely learned a lot. We made some mistakes. We did some good things. and then 2020 rolled around, and everything went just topsy-turvy with this whole COVID thing. We were lucky enough that we'd actually done bottled cocktails before, like deliveries. So we had bottles and we had labels and we had the infrastructure to basically jump into action and get that done straight away. So we were lucky with that. But the last 18 months here has been a series of open, close, open, close, open, close. And it's become really frustrating. But now I think, touch wood, touch bamboo. Now I think we've seen the back of it. I don't know if you guys know the situation here, but we're actually like, I think the highest amount of cases we had a day was 5,000 before we got the lockdown the last time. Now we're hovering around the 20,000 mark, but I think it's got to the point now, like the rest of the world, where it's just, we need to figure out a way of living with this rather than closing everything down and waiting for it to go away, because it's not going to go away. So yeah, we were allowed to open 2 weeks ago, and touch wood again. Touch wood, we won't ever have to close under those pretenses again. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been a really positive experience. I love Malaysia. I've been here for 11 years now. I'm really glad we opened JungleBird. We've met a lot of wonderful friends around the world, not just the region. Because of JungleBird, we've been lucky enough to be flown out to multiple different countries regionally. Also Australia, and a little bit further afield to the UK as well, to spread the good name of JungleBird in the form of guest shifts and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't change, despite the fact that we've made a few bad decisions, obviously, as new business owners. I wouldn't change any of it. It's been a learning curve for sure.
Of course, always learning part for each one of us. William, we just lost you, and that's why we move ahead.
Yeah, I'm back. But I don't know, if you don't mind, just get me in a little bit.
Okay, William, I want to ask you your experience, because you also travel around the world. You also did now you have your Capella, that Stella, which is running in the Bangkok, Singapore, and the other parts. What is your rum experience so far?
You mean like for all my life or recently? What do you mean?
I mean,
Because
like
I'm like
so
with
far.
rum since I started. So
No, I think I say in the industry. How's your experience with the rum so far?
look, rum is amazing product. I mentioned it, that the diversity of rum, different countries, different rums, different techniques. Yeah, it's one of the really diverse products what we can have behind the bar. I really love to work with rum. Personally, I love to drink rum. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, of course, in some hand depends on the occasion, who you with or where you are. Yeah, but if you ask me what I drink, I think the most, yeah, it might be the rum. Yeah, if you ask me what I drank in my life the most, it will be the rum. Yeah, so it's just a different styles of rum. These days I'm getting I started on the sweet rums like Angostura 1919, yeah, Pirate rum and all these things, but I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago or somewhere there. Yeah, Zacapa XO. These like a really sweety stuff. And these days I'm enjoying more complex, more where I can really feel the aging, where I can recognize sort of what style of rum it is, where it is from. For drinks, even like for me to make a highball, yeah, I took the nice sugarcane juice, which is like the Isan rum, just to do it really quickly, yeah. So that depends, yeah. So my experience with the rum, it's always positive, and it always will be.
That's good. That's good. And
Yeah,
what like
I'm glad
what?
to see rum bars rising, like JungleBird and everything, and what Joshua is saying, like to share the love from KL, from you, to go on the guest ships all around the world. Hopefully, I can invite you here, like to Bangkok as well, to see
That'd be awesome.
all the stuff. Yeah, that
I
would be
remember.
great, do a little bit together.
I remember when I met Joshua first time in 2019, when he was in Bangkok to doing a guest shift at Tropic City, and we were sitting at the rooftop. That's the last year.
Last? I think
We were having this.
That was about the last one I did. I think the last time I traveled was
Really?
then. I think my trip to Bangkok. I did 2 trips to Bangkok. One was at the end of 2019, Yeah, no, the sorry, carry on. The Tropic City one was a bit earlier than that. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
So like I think I remember like first during your check-in we are sitting in the lobby with the full bottle, then we are sitting in the at the rooftop, and then we
Yeah, that was with
and then
That was with Martin Cape. That was with Martin Cape.
yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you're sharing
that
your
was the trip
experience. So
before.
that was my experience with like a different type of experience to listen from you about your rum experience and all. So I
Yeah,
can say
that
really
was
good
great.
one.
That was
William,
great.
Look,
We woke up to the. Sorry,
Yeah.
carry on.
I still remember your guest shift at the Tropic City, the crazy one.
It's as I said, it's great to see spreading the rum love around Asia, around the world, and all around because you have a lot of new places popping up, like with the more and more rum. Yeah, just talking, for example, Origin in Shangri-La in Singapore. Yeah, what the unique
Yeah.
rums they had and so on. It's amazing to see it here. You go and you want to have a real fun in Bangkok, yeah, you go Tropic City, definitely. Then you can go Havana,
Yeah,
and then
Yes,
you like enjoy your cigar and a proper rum. Yeah, so you see that the rum culture is in all of us, all around the world. It's everywhere. Every city has a rum bar, technically. Yeah, and that's the beauty
Yes.
about rum because it just goes around us even without noticing. But then you realize, yeah, that everyone likes it. Yeah.
They always happen to be really fun places as well. I think, like
Yeah.
for me, part of the reason why I fell in love with rum so much is when about the Caribbean, and I think about Latin America. When I think about these two regions, I think about carnival and fiesta and bright colors and spicy foods. Do you know what I mean? And passion. And I think that kind of nature resides inside every bottle, you know, not to take anything away from gin or scotch, but when I think about gin, I think of shit English weather, and when I think about scotch, I think about old Scottish
you
guys
think about Scotland,
with flat caps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But rum,
It's like, so
and
I'm really bad dressed for the rum talk. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm at work.
like I've got a palm tree shirt on, and but like I said, not to take anything away from gin or scotch. It's just for me, when I think about these spirits, I think about the places where they're created, and I think about the culture, and I think about how I feel when I'm there. And when I'm in the Caribbean or I'm in Latin America, it's always just go and energy and fire and passion and fuego and carnival. Do you know what I mean? And that to me is what rum is all about a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
to digress to what I was saying, I find rum bars tend to be like that. They tend to have that kind of vibe about them. It's always somewhere to go and have fun and relax, and less so in this part of the world, but certainly in Europe, rum bars, tiki bars are all about escapism. You want to get away from the gloomy city in London, and you want to transport yourself to Trailer Happiness or Mahiki or one of the other famous rum bars in the UK. And it's about just having fun and not taking yourself too seriously.
Totally agree, and that's I think the answer for what is the rum culture for all of us because it's fun.
of course. William, I
Yes.
know you have something in your hotel and you want to move soon. So I think I will ask both of you.
I still have about 5 to 7 minutes, so no worries. I'm
Great.
working on a timeline.
Okay. So I ask for both of you, what do you think about? I have a small comment. If I say rise of Asian rum, what both of you say?
Do you want to go
Because we
first?
already
Go
talking.
first. You go first, William.
So what do you mean, rise of Asian rum?
Yes, because okay, we know we have the rum from Vietnam, we have rum from Cambodia, India, Thailand, and everywhere. But
Look, I love
what do
it.
you think?
Look, I love rising companies and more rum distilleries in Asia, definitely, because if you think about that, sugarcane is coming from here. Yeah, this part of the world deserves to have more rum than Caribbean. Yes, Caribbean is created because of the molasses, because of the sugar. But how much you can play with a pure sugarcane juice and distilling that, aging that, different, as I mentioned for the Isan rum, different sugarcane, different flavor. If you strip it off the skin, if you leave the skin, how you squeeze it, how long you do the fermentation, especially in here, I love it. Yeah, the Asian rums, okay, it's still at the beginning, but I definitely see that it's gonna be more and more, and the whole world needs to know about this style of rums. Yeah, having not only from here in Thailand, but like basically all around where is legally able to distill the sugarcane. Yeah, so I like that part. Big supporter for
Great.
that.
What about you, Joshua? What is your comment on
If
this?
if you'd asked me 10 years ago about Asian rum, I would have said Old Monk and Tanduay. Now,
Okay,
right? Okay,
I agree.
I'm not gonna talk about those two particular brands. But if you ask me now about rum in Asia, I think about Isan and I think about Praya and Samai and Nine Leaves and the Korkors from Japan and Nusa Kanya from Indonesia. And I mean, you know, there's just more and more brands popping up left, right, and center. And all the ones that I've tried are good. And that's the point. Like, there are a lot of fantastic rums coming from this region now. If I've missed any that I shouldn't have done, I apologize. I'm just thinking about what we've got on our back bar and what we've talked about today. But yeah, like I said, you're judging some of the entry level old monks and some of the Tanduais that I had access to back in London against stuff like Samai and Isan. It's chalk and cheese. You know, we're talking multi-column stilled rums with caramel to get to artisan pot stilled. I hate using that word artisan, but pot stilled rums with real flavor and long fermentations, and you know, really like not just buying or using a multi-column still that's being used for other industries and distilling like this massive amounts of high ABV rum and adding caramel. People are really thinking about the production process, and what's coming out are some really, really great flavoursome rums. So I think if the Asian rum industry is heads in the direction that it's going in, then I can't see why there aren't going to be just more amazing rums.
Yeah, agree.
And we
Totally.
all like it's one of the good example you can say, like how you and William already mentioned. If you see the flavor profile of the Asian rum coming right now, example Isan rum, Chalong Bay, the new flavors of Chalong Bay, Paya Thai just launched their Element flavor last year. So this is just a few
Yeah,
example, and like the other rums which you mentioned, Samai and the from Vietnam Santan, which I'm looking forward to try. That's going to
yeah.
be really interesting.
The Nusa Kanya are just about to release a I think it's 60% ABV Godfather version of their current
Ooh.
Batavia Arak, which sounds amazing. I know I'm lobbying Sam Jevons to get hold of a bottle for us, but I think it's going to be limited release. So William, keep a lookout for that. It sounds amazing. Haven't tried
Yeah,
it
it
yet.
I'm
sounds
looking
really good.
forward.
Yeah.
And we need to contact the team who take care of the Nusakana in Thailand for this. Okay, what do you think? Like a very good question to ask. What do you think? The contribution of Asian bar in the global beverage industry.
Sorry, repeat that.
No.
I'm asking, like, what do you think the contribution of Asian bars in the global cocktail culture, or you can say global beverage industry?
Asian bars.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's well renowned. I mean, there are great bars all over Asia, but taking one city in particular, it's well renowned that Singapore is as good as anywhere in the world, I think. I mean, I've not been back to London for a while. I've never been out to New York, but from what I gather and, you know, the things that I've seen in Singapore and the things that I've heard and, you know, the comparisons read online and stuff, Singapore is as good as anywhere in the world. And there are bars in Bangkok and KL and Hong Kong and Japan that are as good as Singapore. So I think Asia has a deservedly, you know, is deservedly on the rankings with anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, totally
That's
agree. Same point. Yeah, I would say the same.
simple.
It's yeah,
So let me.
the world is smaller and smaller. Yeah, not
Yeah,
everything is only about London and New York. Yeah, you
yeah.
know,
I think
like
there's no
you find
question about
really
it.
great bars in Casablanca, South Africa, and so on. Like you can really go around the world, India as well. You find great bars all around the world. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just okay. Singapore, it's a bigger concentration. Yeah, but Asian culture and Asian bar culture, I wouldn't say it's rising because it's raised already. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just
I
getting
couldn't
better
agree
and
with you
better and
more.
better. Yeah.
It's definitely not an emerging. It's definitely not an emerging continent on the bar scene. It is here,
Yes.
and it's well and truly here. I mean, look at the world's 50 best bar list. A lot of those bars are
Mm.
from Asia, from Hong Kong and from Singapore,
Yeah,
which is
and definitely
encouraging.
well deserved.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Completely deserved. Like, I mean, places like Atlas and stuff are just phenomenal bars.
Great.
Yeah,
So, like, I think,
I think they should do world's 200 best, because that's not enough. 100 is not enough number anymore.
Yeah, world's 1,000 best bars would be better.
1,000.
Yeah,
Maybe some,
exactly. It's like
maybe some of us would stand a chance to get on that list then. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think
Yeah.
last but not least, I just want to ask both of you. Okay, apart from traveling, what all are you guys looking forward after this whole COVID situation finish or get over? What you guys looking forward for
Other than traveling,
other than traveling?
I'm looking forward to people, people, meeting people, being with them, having new people around me, forgot the numbers, names, these things, that's what I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to meet hundreds and hundreds of people everywhere.
yeah, I agree. It's tough. It's tough for me to focus on anything other than traveling, and not just us traveling, but people traveling here as well. From a very selfish perspective, we've got this bar that we put a lot of time and effort into building, predominantly ourselves. It would be great to see have friends over from Singapore and Hong Kong and Thailand and all over to come and enjoy our space with us. As much as we want to see other people's bars, we want people to come here as well, and obviously that's not possible at the moment. Yeah.
All right, guys,
Okay.
I'm getting dressed with you because we having like something really important for all our team, because today is a great day for Capella Bangkok, and I will have to leave you soon because the photo shoot is happening in like next 4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay,
And
William, thank
I
you.
should be there. Oh, okay.
Oh God,
I'm
you are
putting
now
t-shirt
dressed up.
over that shirt.
Thank you for joining and sharing some of your love here.
Look, Deepak, we can do this more often. Joshua, we can call anytime and just basically talk over the screen and let people listen. I would love to
Yeah,
catch up with you,
absolutely.
to talk a little bit more. Even Ram, I have the theory that basically I'm sure that one of the Chinese settlers here in Asia must have distilled the sugarcane beer what people are drinking in Southeast Asia. Either for
Probably.
medicine or something. Exactly. And I'm just trying, for past 5 years, I'm trying to find proof of it. And I cannot, so these are...
I remember the explorer. It was Marco Polo. There we go. Marco Polo described a sweet sugarcane fermented beverage called brum found in the Malays.
Yeah.
There we go. Marco Polo.
Yeah.
I thought it was Christopher Columbus for some reason. I'm like, why would he be here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And Alexander the Great, he was the one who said that it's a honey tree. Sugarcane, it's a honey tree that basically you cut it in and the honey goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's even centuries before him. So, Deepak, thank you so much. It was great. Joshua, great to see you. And
Absolutely.
my apologies for
Absolute
that
pleasure,
duty
mate.
calls.
Let's do this again.
Yeah, of course. Look, I still can talk with you a little bit, so you keep talking, and once I switch off, I switch off.
I've probably got to get going soon. I've got a whole bunch of shit I need to do on Excel. Sorry, excuse my language, but yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and I hope people listening have maybe not learned something, because it's more us just waffling. But if you'd like to hear us waffle again, let the guys know, and we'll organise something else.
Yeah,
Thank you,
feel
William.
free,
Thank you,
even like
Joshua.
send a direct message if you have any questions. If I know the answer, I always like to share everything what I know.
Yeah, I never profess to knowing everything. I know what I know. Some of it's probably wrong. A lot of it's probably wrong, but I enjoy talking about it.
Exactly, same, Joshua.
Okay, cool, guys.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, both Joshua and William. And
cheers,
hope
guys.
to see you
Signing
real
off.
soon. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, and drink more rum.
Oh yes, sure. Thank you everyone for joining this amazing Rum Talk with Joshua and William. I hope you guys listen from both of them, some of their beautiful experience and their knowledge, whatever they want, what they share with us in this short time, and looking forward to hear some of your feedbacks. And stay tuned for our next live talk end of the month. and we're going to talk about the honey wine. Yes, we're going to talk about the made, which is also known as honey beverage, honey wine in the some part, because made is not beer. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and hope to see you soon, guys. Bye bye.